Ready to take back control of your life? Check out the 2024 Monk Mode Protocol. Link in the description. What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video, man. And in today's video, we are going to be discussing common job interview mistakes that you are making and how to fix them. Common job interview mistakes that a lot of people make and how to fix them. A more career-oriented video today. And if you're new to the channel, this is a channel all about men's lifestyle and self-improvement, mental health, career, finance, dating, relationships, male life, and so much more. So again, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know your thoughts below in the end of the video, man. I'm gonna be straight up. These are gonna be a bunch of tips that aren't so much common sense. Now, there aren't gonna be these basic tips such as make sure you're wearing a suit and tie, or make sure that you show up to the site on time or at least 30 minutes before your job interview. Look, man, if you're not already doing that before your job interview, you're an idiot. You're a moron, okay? If you're not already dressing up in the suit and tie, if you're showing up late, you should not be deserving of the job in the first place. So, number one, man, use your common sense. Don't be an idiot. At the very least, make sure you're doing those two things already before you go ahead and watch this video entirely, man. Because if you don't do those two things, then you probably won't get the job, let's be honest. Now, hopping into the constructive advice, right? The first common mistake that a lot of people are doing is that they are going into this job unprepared and not doing their research. Just go onto LinkedIn, look at the profiles of the people that were assigned to you on that original email, the people that will be interviewing you. Look them up on LinkedIn, look at some of their job duties so you get kind of a better understanding of what you may be doing for this new position. In addition to that, research the company, right? The company that you are interviewing for. Research what possible products that they might be making. Research what other companies they might be working for. Learn about the company's mission statement. Learn about any successes the company has had, the size of the company, various programs that they might be working on. And researching the company, researching the people, like their LinkedIn profile that they have online. What this does is it causes you to not only be more knowledgeable, right? But it'll show more of an interest. And usually at the end of every job interview, they have a portion where the person interviewing you starts asking, do you have any further questions? And this is a great opportunity to ask any questions that you may have found or any questions that may have arisen while you were doing that research online, man. Come up with about 7 or 8 questions from that research that interest you, and make sure you're well versed with at least a basic background of the company, man. Now, hopping on to a second common mistake that a lot of people have when they go to their job interview, man, is stretching the truth on their resume. I've interviewed a lot of candidates for positions in the past. Some of my past 9-to-5 jobs, I was actually a team lead. I had experience on the interview team. I've seen other people's resumes, man, and you can kind of tell when someone's kind of stretching the truth and using a lot of fancy jargon in their resume versus somebody who keeps it a little bit more brief on their resume, not so sophisticated, but can explain what they did very, very well. You see, if you don't have a lot of experience and you try to just fluff your resume with a lot of these fancy terms to make it look like you're very intelligent, it's hard to really put on a show. You don't want to do that. You don't want to come off as inauthentic when it comes to your job interview, man. So make sure you're not stretching the truth. Have things that you're actually familiar with. Review your resume a couple times before you head into the job interview. If you have things listed on your resume that you don't quite remember the process for, at least try your best to do some research on the topic before you head into that interview. And definitely do not over exaggerate. Do not lie at all on your resume. Do not say things that you did not do, because at the end of the day, man, if they don't catch it on the interview, if the process comes up during your normal on-the-job training, right, and they find out that you're actually just fluffing your resume, right, it's just gonna be a really bad look. So make sure, man, you're not fluffing your resume with all this sophisticated stuff that you're not even that familiar with. Make sure you're being honest at all times and you're listing things on your resume that you're actually familiar with and tasks that you are actually proficient with. Now, the third tip is to make sure that you do not trash your ex-employer / ex-coworkers. Look, man, I don't care how horrible your experience was in the last company. I don't care if you didn't get along with your last supervisor, if you didn't get along with previous coworkers, if the company didn't treat you right as an employee. At the end of the day, no matter what, make sure you're not bashing another company. It just shows that you're more of the problem than them being the problem. At the end of the day, people want that positivity, you know what I mean? People don't like a guy who's so negative, who's always complaining, because the more and more stories, the more and more conflict that you bring up during your interview is just gonna rise to a lot of questions. The interviewer is gonna start thinking, dang, is this guy really worth the investment if he's always getting into conflict with company after company? So whatever you do, man, just don't trash anybody from your previous company. Don't make fun of the previous company. You know, even if they didn't treat you the best, be honest. Tell them that, hey, it wasn't the best experience, but I still learned a lot, right? And I'm hoping to improve with you guys, and I'm hoping to really blend into your company culture, and I'm willing to improve my skills. Don't make anything super personal during these job interviews, man. Never go personal. Don't start going into such personal details such as a company's, relationships and oh, I worked with this guy on this team and he was an ass to me. Don't be so negative. Don't start trashing other people. Just not a good look, all right? Every single employer, interviewer, they want to hire somebody who works well with a team. They want to hire somebody really with just good mental health, a good attitude, looking to grow their experience, man. So make sure you don't go into any personal details. Don't trash another job. Don't trash any other employees from your past. Make sure you're keeping the job interview to the skill sets of the position. Now, the next tip that I want to talk to you guys about is the whole notion of salary discussions. Don't bring up salary at all unless the actual job interviewer, the person that is interviewing you, directly asks you for what your expectations is. And avoid the salary discussions. At the end of the day, honestly, before you even applied to this job, right, the whole salary expectations, they were probably listed honestly on the job posting. All the salary stuff, man, all this stuff was already posted when you applied to the position, right? Whether you applied on LinkedIn or Indeed, there's always a section where it lists the salary, man. It makes it look like you're not really interested in doing actual work for the company. You're not genuinely interested in helping improve processes for the company. You're not actually interested in working hard. It just seems like you're just doing this for a paycheck to get by. And that's really the wrong mentality, right? Obviously, money is important, very, very important. But when it comes to doing work, right, you don't want to come off as this person that's kind of just like a gold digger in a way. Just, I'm only here for the large paycheck and then go home, do my 8 hours and leave. Nah, man. You want to show that you are a hard worker. You want to show that you're an honest, congruent, authentic person who genuinely loves doing the tasks that were assigned to him, who genuinely loves the field that he's working in, who genuinely wants to help other people out in the world and make a difference for other people in addition to the company that he's interviewing for. You don't want to just go in with dollar signs on your eyes as the primary thing, right? Now, let me be very clear. If the interviewer asks you towards the end what your salary expectations are, then you can kind of go into that and talk about what you expect your salary to be. You could talk about how you made, X, Y, and Z in this company and that company. So you're hoping to transition salary-wise into something more in this position. If they bring it up, right? If they bring it up, which, HR will probably already bring it up before you even go in to the interview. But during the interview, pretty unlikely, but sometimes one of the questions that a higher up will bring up during the interview is, what are your salary expectations for the positions? It's not very common, man, but sometimes they do bring that up. But honestly, unless directly asked by the interviewer, you want to avoid those discussions on salary, man. You have to also want to be there, genuinely want to be there, genuinely love the work you're doing, the duties you're doing. You don't want to give up this vibe that you're just here to collect a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks, man. Lastly, the last tip that a lot of people don't mention or even bring up during their job interviews that you should be bringing up, man, is next steps. A lot of people don't ask, what are the next steps after this interview? Or even a simple like, when do I expect to hear back, right? You'd be surprised. And this was a mistake that I used to make when I was younger, man. It provides a lot of clarity, right? I would go into job interviews back when I was younger and not even ask this question at the very end, and weeks and months would go by and I would not hear at all from the job, and it just leaves you in a state of confusion and wonder, you know what I mean, if you don't ask this question. If they say you'll hear back in a couple weeks and a couple months go by, then most likely you didn't get the position, man. Be sure to send that thank you note after the interview, usually within 24 hours, to whatever email contacts that you have. Just send a quick email, man, usually the HR contact or the person's business card that you received right from the interview. Send that quick thank you note at the very end, man. That's really the best way to wrap up the interview process, man. Anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. These are just some basic interview tips that you can use and utilize, and really some common mistakes that people are making and how to fix them, man, during your interviews. So hopefully you guys follow these tips that I give in this video and you'll land your next new job soon, man. So with all that being said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.